Fluent and chill, yeah, we call it how it's played. From the field to the court, every legend gets weighed. Fourth quarter heat over 2 minute drill. If you can't handle the truth, better chill with the skill. LeBron and MJ, we break that smoke.
What the closest thing to perfection will that make you?
Stats don't lie, we just let us build. This is real talk sports, welcome to Fluent and Chill. Fluent and chill, yeah, we call it how it's played. From the field to the court, every legend gets weighed.
Yes, sir. You know, this is the first time I think we just boom went live. Haven't even had a minute to say hello, catch up, see how things are going.
We usually do it after the show. That's
yeah, I know, but I feel like people want to hear they want to hear what's going on in our lives.
Mm-hmm. Not much has changed.
What do you think? Do you think that look, we've never talked about this. Do you think people actually care?
Yes, they do. Mm-hmm. They 100% do. That's why they tune in. We are a part of their lives. Like, they look forward to us. And, you know, when we're not here, this kind of throws a monkey wrench in what they got going on. Like, this is a part of their Tuesday night.
Well, I see right here. G-Cup be like, what happened last week? What happened last week was he didn't want to do the show alone. I was in, have you ever, no, I know you haven't been, because you said it was on your book. Victoria, BC is where I was. It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It's boring as all hell, but it's beautiful.
It's boring because it might not be on the surface stuff to do, but go outside, man, and go see what's going on out there.
It's a small, like, city.
Mm-hmm.
Tuesdays are boring without us. You're absolutely right. But just listen, tell ESPN, tell FS1, you know, whatever. How much does Stephen A make a year?
Yo, he on the books for
100 million?
Yeah, he's on the books for like 20.
100 million. No. Does he not make? I thought he makes 100 million a year. Is it 20?
Making that much, yeah. For ESPN, I know he just signed a $100 million deal with them.
Okay, but that's for 10 years, so he makes 10 million a year.
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
All right, so give him 8. His life won't change. Give me 1, give you 1, and we'll do this every day. That's all I'm saying.
And for the record, it's Fluent and Chill.
Pay cut. I'll take a pay cut. No, you're not. $2 million a year to do this every day because it's more fun.
Like, first and foremost, it is Fluent. That's my man right here, and Chill. That's me. It's not Fluent or Chill. No, it's both of us. So when he ain't here, so when he's not here,
who said Fluent or Chill?
So he's not here. I can't do the show.
Oh, I see. Is that
him?
Okay?
That's the way it works. It's Fluent and Chill. Both of us.
But you're Chilltown hoops, and you can be you're fluent in basketball, so it's not like so you could do it.
That's something completely different. Nah, this thing on Tuesday night. This is us. This is our thing. Mm-mm.
All right, I'm gonna. You did this to me last week, where you brought up some shit that pissed me off. So even though I have something that's pissing me off, I'm gonna ask you something that'll piss you off. By week 4, will anybody on the Niners be healthy?
No, hey Tone, I don't know what's going on with my crew. Like we falling apart. Bosa gone. Brock out for a month. George is out for a month. So we lose Bosa for the season. We still haven't gotten Brandon Ayuk back yet, and we basically holding this thing together, Tone, with glue and tape. That's what we're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're holding this thing together with glue and tape. And with all of that being said, we are 3-0. Tone, I found out something really interesting. And what I found out was Mac Jones doesn't suck. I love that.
Mac Jones has never
sucked. He doesn't suck.
He was put into a position where it was impossible to succeed. Who was he following up?
Oh my goodness. He was following Elton John. He was following Michael Jackson. Like, you don't go stage after them.
Right. So the bar is so high, no one could touch it. And you already know that organization is not like, we're going to put a bunch of great pieces around you to succeed offensively. Like I think he was just put in a no-win situation. And is he a superstar, all-time great quarterback? Nah, probably not. But is he a starter in this league? I absolutely think he is.
You know what he reminds me of, Tony? He reminds me of that guy in your family that he's not the best mechanic, but when you see him get to work, like, he know what he's doing. Like, he's not going to completely wreck until you can call somebody that's really good. Like, he'll do for right now. I think what happened with me when it came to Mac Jones was I got to listening to the Patriot fan base and were listening to the Patriot fan base, they made him sound like he was straight garbage when completely leaving out, okay, he was following Tom Brady, right? He's following Liberace. He's following Michael. No, man. He actually doesn't suck. No, he doesn't.
All right. So we're gonna I feel like we should maybe at the end of the show, because it being on Tuesdays. Remember we used to do Tuesdays and Thursdays? Thursdays we would do football. And it made sense because it was Thursday night football. We could talk about a game. We can make our picks for Sunday. It's tough to make picks on Tuesday for Sunday. That being said, maybe starting next week, I'll bring us a few picks, and we can give like the top games of the week. You know, like how on Sunday we saw the Bears revival, but it was only against Dallas, so it doesn't really count. But it's only Dallas.
Even if it was against Dallas, Tone, I'm glad you brought that up because that was an ass whooping of epic proportion. Yes, it was. The fact
is it we're better than people thought, or is Dallas just worse than even expected?
Two things can be true.
Two things
could 100% be true. First and foremost, Caleb Williams, the first week, maybe 2 weeks, I didn't like the deep ball. I didn't like his throws downfield, like the dink and dunk stuff. I did like it. His short game, I did like it. I didn't like him being able to see guys 15, 20 yards down the field and be able to hit them with consistency. I didn't like that because he didn't show me that. And I wasn't a huge fan of your run game. But it looked like against the Cowboys, like you had everything going. And the Cowboys do not suck. I'm not going to argue that. I don't think the Cowboys suck. No. However, they are the Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys. They are the Cowboys.
They are the Cowboys.
I think they do kind of suck, just for the record. And I also think when you bring, and this has been the issue with Chicago for years.
Yeah.
Bring in a new quarterback. He doesn't mesh with the head coach or the offensive coordinator. You get rid of the head coach and offensive coordinator. You bring a new head coach and offensive coordinator. It takes time for a quarterback to learn their system, and you might realize they're not going to learn the system, or they're not the right person. They're not my guy. So the head coach and offensive coordinator get that dude chipped out. They bring in a new quarterback. That quarterback now has to learn their system, but it's not fast enough because you just used a high draft pick to bring in this quarterback. So then the head coach and the offensive coordinator are gone. So then you bring in a new head coach and new offensive coordinator. Now they inherit that quarterback who's not really their quarterback. So then they get rid of him and they draft high another quarterback. And then that quarterback has to learn their system. Well, it doesn't happen fast enough. So I can keep doing this for about 4 or 5 times in a row.
Well, that's what's been going on with the Cowboys for the last 25 years, though. That's the problem.
Because the Cowboys have had the consistent star quarterback. They've had the consistent star receiver,
but
they're just inept from ownership down.
Yes.
Whereas theirs is just it's this revolving door, and there's no consistency. So I hope they give these guys an opportunity to say, hey, we brought in, what Ben Johnson did in Detroit. Okay, then give him 5 years. Like, I'd rather be a bad team for the next 2 to 3 years, but at least there's a direction versus be a bad team for 2 years, then bring in a whole new coaching staff and GM, and now we start starting over every 3 years will never get it done. Never.
Well, it's obvious with the Bears.
Find me a team that has changed their the head, whether it's the GM, the head coach, every 3 years and has been successful. Or only the team that has the same dudes pretty much was, in place for 7 to 10 years. Show me where they haven't been successful. It's true less often that the long-term people are unsuccessful versus the short-term.
I think the problem with the Cowboys, to your point, is they've had the consistent quarterback, right? They've had the consistent wide receiver. But Tone, when I'm bringing in different teachers to teach you different, I'm teaching it to you a different way. If that continues, we're not going to get maximum 1 effort out of you. 2, we're not going to get everything that's necessary in order for us to win. We're not going to get that out of you. In fact, what we're going to get is we're going to screw you up because this coach taught you, this coach taught that to 3-step drop and throw off of this foot on this number. I'll never forget that Bill Walsh, he said with Joe Montana, he was coaching Joe Montana. He said, there's a reason why I want you to drop back 3 steps and throw here. There's a reason why I want you to drop back 5 steps and throw here. Well, when there's a consistency with that, okay, now I understand why he wants me to drop back 3 steps.
Yeah.
Now I understand why he wants me to drop back 5 steps. This is the guy I'm looking for, and it's going to take 5 steps instead of 3 steps. With Dak,
it's about timing with his roots. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. If with Dak, okay, I want you to drop back 3 steps. Well, no, this guy is teaching me the same guy that I'm hitting. He wants me to drop back 5 steps doing it. Well, if that's going on for 3 years, and then the next guy comes in, the guy I'm supposed to be hitting the 3 steps, he wants me to drop back 5 steps to hit that guy. And by the way, the rush is coming. The rush is coming, and I don't have time to get away from it. I think these guys get screwed up way more than they get developed. And I think that's what's going on with the Cowboys. And the reason why I think that is because of their owner. Tone, I'm trying to figure out why Jerry Jones, after games, why am I not hearing from their head coach? I don't even know who the head coach of the Cowboys is. I don't even know who the head coach of the Cowboys is. I'm sorry, Tone. I don't. Who is coach?
Isn't it? Isn't
right,
it?
But
isn't it Mike McCarthy?
No, he got fired. He gone.
Did? Get out of here.
He's gone, Tone. Yes,
Mike
McCarthy is out.
Is he really?
Yes,
No.
Mike McCarthy is out. So, but every time I turn around, the camera's in Jerry Jones' face. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I understand that this is a business, and as a business, I get the fact that you want your business to thrive, so you want to be a part of that. However, I think that the field hands is what I'm thinking about. These people who
Brian Schottenheimer. Sorry.
There you go, Tone.
Because and the only reason I remember is because I was yelling. Remember, I was yelling and screaming when they hired Mike McCarthy, and I said, "What a horrible hire! It's not going to last."
2 years he's out,
and I just figured they were dumb enough to keep him. Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years he was out. But what I'm saying is that the players. I mean, I see that Dak is in front of the camera. I don't understand why Jerry Jones is in front of the camera as much as he's in front of the camera. Why you guys? The questions that they ask him, they're asking him questions.
You do know.
Tone, I get the whole this guy is signing the checks. I get that
part. No,
but they're asking.
Attention whore.
He is an attention whore. I'm not going to argue.
He just wants to be in front of the camera all the time because I'm a billionaire and I can be.
Okay, but the questions that they ask him, Tone, he shouldn't be answering questions that Coach Schottenheimer should be answering. They asking him.
I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying, but you know the reason.
It does make sense. Yes.
Because here's the thing: in his own twisted mind, he thinks he's doing them a favor.
He's not, yo.
He thinks he's doing them a favor by saying, "I'm going to take the attention off of these guys so that they don't feel the pressure," not realizing you're doing the opposite. You're making them feel like they're just a puppet, and you're really, pulling the strings.
In fact, to your point, Tone, like people who actually know football and people who watch the game, they eventually are going to see right through that. Like, why are we talking to you? Why are we not talking to you? And you had 3 drops yesterday, and you were wide open on the 10-yard hook, and we're not talking to you. Why are we not talking to you when you had 2 touchdowns and ran for 130 yards? Why are we talking to Jerry Jones about your nickel package? Why are we doing that? I don't get that.
I don't. Yeah. So listen, let's get from one horrible team to a horrible organization. We're going to stay with football briefly because I was really just wanted to pick on your Niners for a bit and all the injuries, but there's a
You're undefeated though, Tone. 3-0.
I can appreciate that. There is a horrendous league up in Canada that, for all their stupidity and loss of money and all the negatives I can tell you about the CFL, the one thing that they did have going for them was that in certain cities there were diehard, lifelong fans. Like if you go to Saskatchewan, if you go to Calgary, there are diehard CFL fans. And their new commissioner, who's been on the job for about 15 minutes, just went and kicked all of them in the nuts. Wow. And I know you don't know, so I'm going to tell you. So the one thing that's one of the things, there's a few things that is unique about the CFL is that they play on a bigger field. So it's instead of being 100 yards, it's 110, right? So there's like a 55-yard line, which is center. The end zones are 20 yards deep, right? Allowing you to have more room to kind of throw stuff into the end zone.
Sure.
The goalposts,
like 130 yards, basically.
Yeah, the goalposts are actually at the goal line. Now, that's not necessarily a good thing because you can literally run into the goalpost as you're running a slant route. You can throw it and hit. You can throw the ball and hit the goalpost as you're trying to throw a crossing route to someone in the end zone. If you're backed up on your own goal line and you drop back and you're in the end zone, I've seen the quarterbacks throw it and hit the goalpost as they're trying to get out of their own end zone. So there's a lot of negatives about that. However, it's also wider, right? So it's not NFL is 53 yards wide. Their CFL is 60. So it's a bigger field. Only 3 downs. Because there's only 3 downs, of course, there's a lot of throwing, there's a lot of scoring. It's wide open. They do play with 12 men, so there's an extra player. Your receivers can be in motion, so they can get a running start as they're like as you snap.
Not like I'm running. Not just in motion. No,
not in motion left to right. They can like start 5-10 yards back and run, and just boom, hit it and go. However. This new, among some other rules. Oh, I know. If you kick it through the end zone, you get a point. It's called the rouge. Okay. Now, some people's, so imagine. Here's where I don't like it. So I'll explain this rule a little bit. So if I punt it, so I'm on the 50-yard line and it's a tie game, I can punt it through the end zone, or if I can kick off the ball through the end zone, I get a point.
Oh.
So the downside of that is game-winning field goal, right? Tie game. I miss the field goal, but I kick it hard enough that it goes through the end zone. I will get the 1 point and I still win, even though I missed the field goal. So there's some dumb rules like that. I'm going to show you a dumber rule in a second. However, here's what he has done for all of its uniqueness, right? For all of its uniqueness and why the people who watch it love it. It's not popular, obviously. However, here's what he's done. So he has moved the goalpost location from the front, the goal line, and moved it to the back of the end zone. So now it's out of play, doesn't get in the way. That's not a bad thing. Let's be honest. That's not a
bad thing at all. I'm surprised that he didn't do that a while ago. That's actually a good idea.
Yeah. He shortened the end zone from 20 yards deep to 15 yards deep. So closer to the NFL, which is 10 yards. So 5 yards. 5 yards is a big difference. Because of field goal kicking, right? He's like, well, if I'm going to put the goalpost at the back, I got to make the end zone shorter, else, right? It becomes, he has shortened the field. So instead of 110 yards, he made it a traditional 100 yards. So just like, it's still wide. It's still 65 yards wide. So that's still wider. There's still 12 men. There's still 3 downs. They've modified the rouge rule that I mentioned about that extra point. Yep. So now if you miss a field goal, you don't get the point.
And even if I kick it, I kick it out the end zone. No,
basically only if you do it like intentionally on certain plays can you get the extra point. Okay. Although I don't like that rule at all. The play clock. So this was interesting. To speed up the game, the play clock was actually only 20 seconds. But the referees had to reset it manually after they were all lined up and ready to go. So the guys would move the sticks, refs would get on position, put the ball down, and the ref would like hit a button and boop, and now the 20 seconds would start. Now they made it 35 seconds, but it's just automatic. The second the play ends, the play clock resets. Kind of like the NFL. Makes more sense. The other thing that was weird, the teams used to be, depending on the stadium, their benches used to be on the same side of the field.
What?
Yeah. So now they've moved them.
So if Green Bay is over here, Detroit's right on the other side. They over there.
Right. Yeah.
So what's separating us?
Nothing
really.
Possibilities.
So that's okay. So opportunity in air.
Yeah, let's go.
Opportunity in air. All right.
Yeah. So now they've
getting schooled on. By the way, I'm getting schooled, ladies and gentlemen, on the CFL. I don't know much about the CFL, so Tone's giving me.
So here's the interesting thing. Now. So they've made all these rule changes. I like this graphic better, so I'm going to keep this one. I had 2 just in case. So they made all these rule changes, and here's what's interesting. I feel like they did it halfway. And here's what I mean. You either are going to say, hey, we're just going to have the same rules as the NFL, where we're 4 downs, 100 yards, and just be like, hey, this way we can move people back and forth between leagues. Like I've always said, the CFL should just run opposite calendar year of the NFL, so there's no overlap. Yeah. And you have people, almost like the G League, let them play. They could have 2-way contracts, blah, blah, blah. People will if you want it to be popular and make money. However, if you don't want to do that, if you really want to say, hey, I want this to be unique, I want this to be our game, then you need to leave it. You need to leave it. And so there are a lot of players coming out and they are pissed. They are pissed.
Well, Tone, this sounds to me like you ran in the bank and you only took a little bit of the money. If you're gonna rob a bank. Take all the money. Don't take some of the stuff. Okay, I understand that the NBA does this. They did this and they tried it out in the summer league with some of the Euro League stuff, right? And a lot of the stuff in the Olympics. They tried some of it out and they'll take like one thing. I'm looking at the CFL, Tone, it looks like they've taken almost everything except like 2 or 3 things. I think the field, I do know this about the CFL. I do know that the field is like 65 yards by like 53 yards. I do know that. Something like 65 yards.
It's 65 yards wide by 110. Well, I guess if you add
something like that.
Either and it's like 150 by 65. Big, yeah.
Right.
If you include the end zone, it's 65 by 150. Yes.
Well, it turns out it from what you're telling me, it sounds like they're shortening that now. So we're going from 65, and it's not going to be so sideline to sideline, it's going to be shorter, very much like the NFL. So if that's true, Tone, right?
No, sideline to sideline is the same. Sideline to sideline is the same, 65. Okay. But this goes from 150 to 130. 20 yards.
Okay. I got you. I'm following you now. Right.
Okay.
But, okay.
So I want you to hear the feedback, though. I just want you to hear the feedback. First, let's hit the super chat. So, because G-Cut says, I had season tickets to BC Lions. Not anymore. Hold on. G-Cuts, are you in BC?
Yeah,
were you not here when I said I spent the last week in Victoria? I don't know. Anyways, so not anymore. Okay, so let me just show you what one of the players has said. This was the first one I saw. Okay, hold on.
Rule changes are garbage. It's garbage. I, as many people did, fans and people who play in this league, grew up watching the CFL and loving the game. I grew up in Ontario. Played Canadian football rules all my life. Was aware of and was a fan of the league down there, but was a fan of the CFL because of its differences. I went down to the States, proud of the game, being able to explain the differences. The waggle, the yard, the extra person. These are the things that are unique about the game that make it different. And there's the rule changes to me make it sound like we want to be that league down south. We want to be that league. And from recent history and years past, leagues that have tried to emerge to try to be like the NFL haven't existed for very long. The CFL game has existed for longer than the NFL. And there's a reason for that. It's unique. The fans love it. I grew up loving this game. And they're changing that. They're getting rid of a lot of things. The worst part I think about it, honestly, is the fact that the people who play football, who have the football knowledge, were not consulted about this. The players weren't consulted, the coaches, management, nobody was consulted. This was done on their own accord. This was done independent of asking anyone who actually knows football what they want to do, what they think would be better. We have a commissioner who hasn't been here for a year, who's already trying to change the game. And I don't believe he loves football as much as I do, as much as many fans do, as much as people who grew up loving this game. I don't think you cannot make adjustments like this and tell me that you like football. You love the Canadian football game because you're changing it. And what we're moving towards is not the Canadian football game that I grew up loving, that I'm passionate about, that I came back and played. I went down and played in the NFL in that league. And I came back knowing that this is a game for me because of the uniqueness of it, what's special about it. And we're getting away from that. And that, frankly, makes me pretty pissed off.
There you go.
So he is not, needless to say, he is not a fan of the changes. And you're hearing a lot of that, which is interesting and I get it. And here's now the business guy in me, right, is going to come out. What you've been doing isn't bringing in money. They lose money every year.
Mm-hmm.
So how can
that's where the change is coming from, though, Tone. Maybe
that's what I'm saying. So you're stuck in this difficult spot where if you keep it the same, right, you're loyal to the traditionalists, but you're losing money. So you need to do something You need to make a change to see, can I get more viewership? Can I get more dollars? Because without the dollars, it makes no sense.
Yeah, we can't have a league if
we can't have
any money. Right. We can't have a league if we're not making any money. And change is difficult in the beginning, Tone. Change is 100% difficult. And I think that this commissioner, maybe he's banking on the idea that, when we start making money, you guys are going to start to come around. The other side of that is and what makes people want to watch is the different things that we do. Like, I don't know what is the waggle, Tone? What does that mean?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I have no
idea. I don't know what I don't know what that is. But apparently
G cuts. Listen, G cuts.
Apparently that's something that's a big deal.
I was gonna say G cuts was a season ticket holder to the BC Lions, so he can tell us what the waggle is. I don't know what the waggle is. And here's the funny part. And the rest of the time, the next hour and a half, we're talking nothing but basketball. But I do want to say this: of all the rule changes, this is the one they should have changed.
Jardo this time checks it down underneath Joe Fernandez, but he looks to do the dribble kick. Once again, trying to reset the downs. Was he behind the original line of scrimmage trying to dribble it the same way that he did a couple of times last year? Of the way it's written up. It was an interesting discussion in the offseason. Okay, this play seems ridiculous. Shouldn't you have to kick it to the actual first down marker, not the original line of scrimmage? And I looked at it and thought, well, it's in the rule book. If you want to defend and bail out, play zone, why not allow this?
So Tone, I can catch that. I just want to make sure.
I'll explain it because it's stupid. If you throw the ball to a receiver, and he catches it, and he just kicks it over the line of scrimmage, or like fake little 1 foot punt as you saw there, and then recovers it, you start over on first down. It's like an onside punt.
I thought that was. I thought he was kicking it to the first down marker, which was right in front of him, and he wasn't sure if he could get there. And he just dove on the ball. What the hell kind of deal is that, Tone? So I could just catch the ball. I'm sorry. Brock Purdy is throwing it to George Kittle at the line of scrimmage. George could just kick the ball. And by the way, we're third and like 17, Tone. Like third and 17. George could catch the ball, kick it, and then fall on it. We got a fresh new set of downs.
Correct.
What the hell is happening right now? No way that's real. No way.
It's 100% real. It's the most ridiculous rule in any sport. I just want to be clear.
I never heard that before. That's like being in basketball and I shoot the ball and it goes in it goes in. Oh, let me rephrase that. No, that's not the way that works. Because I'm trying to get the ball back, or I'm trying to get a new possession. So what I do is I get the ball when the shot clock is running out. I take the ball and I don't know.
I don't know either. So G cuts did say, so the waggle is what I was talking about. I just didn't know that's what it was called, where the receiver can run to the line of scrimmage before the snap.
They do that in arena football too.
Yeah, that's the waggle, and apparently that's a rugby play, that onside's punt. But like for basketball fans, that's basically like saying, like if the shot clock's down to 1. And if I let go of the ball and I step out of bounds and then reestablish, I get a new shot clock.
The shot clock is just, what the fuck is happening right now, Tom?
It's crazy. All right, we got a lot of NFL stuff to cover. So, I first want to start with let's start with your guy.
Yeah.
Let's start with your guy because someone here said something. I'm really sorry, Chill. I know he's family, but Shaq's starting to look a little like a weirdo. What's more weird? What's more weird? Is it more weird that there's a girl on OnlyFans making $50 million a year, or that there's that many stupid men that are giving her $50 million a year?
Is that who this chick is?
That's Sophia Rain. Yes.
I don't know who she is.
Neither did I until I saw this picture, and it was sent to me, and they're like, yo, can you ask your boy Chill what's going on? And I immediately thought, Shaq's been spending some time in the sun. That's the first thing that came to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Two is she's like 18, 19 years old. So
child,
be careful. Now, here's the truth about it, because everyone's going to come up with fake story. This was her birthday party, however old she was turning. She made $53 million from stupid men who paid her to do what she does on OnlyFans. 21. There you go. Thank you, G-Cut. She's 21. Yep. And Shaq was hired to DJ the event, which, as you know, that's something he does for fun, I guess. But hey, if they're going to pay him to come DJ Shaq Diesel, why not? And they took a picture together. So I don't think there's anything.
So number one, I don't know anything about this, but if she hired him to come DJ, she paid a pretty penny for him.
That's exactly.
Let's be clear about that. If you did 50 million last year and whatever it is that you do, if she definitely paid a pretty penny for Shaq to come DJ at her party. That's number one. Number two, Shaq knows, knowing what's going on in the world, not to get himself in any nonsense. He knows that. He's smart. He's a lot smarter than people give him credit for. And this tells me nothing. All this tells me is I was at a party. She was there. I took a picture. That's it. Now, you can misconstrue it and you could turn it into something else. But in the end, that's all it was. I was DJing at a party. She hired me. I took a picture with somebody who hired me. That's the end of it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Exactly.
Because whether you guys know it or not, my cousin is an actual DJ. That's what he does. Like, he's not just here for appearances. He gets on the wheels of steels and he mixes and he's nice. So the idea that, this is just for show, no, he really that's something he does and enjoys and is good at. Yeah. Yes, he actually went on tour this summer. He was on tour, DJ Diesel. That's his stage name. So she hired him, which means she probably flew him out there. It may have been where no, he's in Texas now, right? He's not in Florida anymore. Is that correct? No, he's in Vegas.
Oh, he's in Vegas. Oh, well, there you go. So the party for sure was in Vegas.
Yes. So if the party was in Vegas, she probably called him up like, yo, can you come DJ my party? I got this for you. And that's all it was. Now, of course, people see that and they're going to turn it into something completely different than what it is. And 100%. I don't think that there's anything going on. I know my cousin is a lot smarter than that, way smarter than that. I agree, but as you know, he's like, yo, what up? And I'm like, there's nothing going on. But hey, we need to address it because it's a story. Yes. And that's what we do. Speaking of stories, we have not had an opportunity to talk about what is turning into, and I have very, 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 very strong feelings about this. So I'm going to let you start. Mm-hmm. Kawhi Leonard. I love AI. I made that picture today. I do love AI. Which is interesting too, Tone. You making that picture. He looks fantastic, only except he's made of glass. That's the
you can see his knees are actually bulging out there too. Is this
right? He looks fantastic. If you didn't know, unfortunately, he's breaking down like an old car. That's really what's going on.
His knees are about as sturdy as that little twig of a tree he's holding up. So
they're not sturdy at all. At any point, he could fall over, and that could be the end of it. So I get it. But Tone, my biggest problem with this, and I think that Pablo Torres, who's an investigative reporter, does a great job in not giving you everything all at once. What he's giving you is he's giving you tidbits. And then when you come back with, well, what about this? Well, I have that. I can counter that with this. Well, then he comes back with this. Well, what about this? Then I can counter that with that. So it suggests to me that he has a lot more information than he gave us from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And it's obvious. It's not sort of kind of Tone. It's obvious that Steve Ballmer is involved in this on some level. You and I had this conversation, Tone, a couple of days ago when the co-founder of Aspirations was under oath and asked, was Steve Ballmer an investor and what was his involvement in the company? And he decided to plead the fifth. And you and I had this conversation. When you decide to plead the fifth, remember what the Fifth Amendment, remember what Miranda rights were. Miranda rights are comprised of the Fifth Amendment. And some people say, well, Miranda rights don't have anything to do with the Fifth Amendment. Yes, they do. In fact, your Fifth Amendment.
Miranda rights start off with your Fifth Amendment.
Yes. Do yourself a favor.
What the hell
you have a right to remain silent.
That's how they should start it. They should be like,
shut your damn mouth.
quiet. Don't say nothing else. You're already in enough trouble as it is, right? So for him to, I feel like for him to say, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment rights, what you're confirming is you're confirming something that I already know, right? I think that's what you're doing. If you didn't have anything to do with this, Tone, I'm gonna just basically say, Tony didn't have anything to do with this, but I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment rights to not answer any more questions. But so you know, Tony didn't have anything to do with this, and I'm not answering any more questions about this. I could start and stop the conversation with that right there. Well, no, you can't. Yes, I can. I can tell you, Tony didn't have anything to do with this, but I am invoking my Fifth Amendment rights because I don't want to incriminate myself. And we're done. But instead, he starts with, I'm invoking my Fifth Amendment rights. I don't want to talk about this. I will not talk about this, because if I do, I'm not only going to get myself in trouble, I'm going to get the other people that are involved in this in trouble too. And I don't want to do that. No, I do not want to do that. It's obvious that it's obvious Steve Ballmer is involved in this on some level. My biggest issue, Tone, is the arrogance of Steve Ballmer, the arrogance of Mark Cuban, the arrogance of these people to just make us think that we have no idea what a ruse is.
We're stupid.
Like, we're just dumb. Like, come on, man. Tony, when this first thing happened, you and I went over this. And as a businessman, I am a professional basketball player, hence the term professional. I play for money. So if you want me to come work for you, you have to make, especially if I'm a free agent and I have the upper hand, you have to make it worth my while. Because I'm leaving Toronto and I'm leaving $40 million of NBA money, by the way, Tony. This isn't endorsements. This isn't anything like that. This is an NBA contract. I'm leaving $40 million on the table. I'm not leaving $40 million on the table just to go home. No, I'm not doing
And let me be very clear. $40 million that he leaves is USD, which is Canadian. About 65 million. Like, if he's living up here, like, you got to do. Now he has to pay more taxes, so it probably ends up evening out. But that being said, let's just recap. So one, the Ballmer question. So I don't know if this is 100% true, but I believe Teddy. The Ballmer question was the only question he pled the fifth.
What does that tell you? I'll answer anything, but you ask me anything about him. Yeah. Nope, I ain't answering no question.
With Ballmer, I take the fifth. Like, okay, that right there, when they say taking the fifth doesn't mean you're guilty, that right there makes me think you are. But let's just recap. Let's just recap quickly, right? And then I'm going to tell you something, because I feel very, very, very strongly about this, because I think there's already enough information to convict these guys. That being said, Pablo Torre did a great job. Oh, by the way, let me. There's so many things I want to say, but let me start with any moron that says why is Pablo Torre doing this should never be allowed to speak on camera again. Okay, I forget who it was, but I know he's a former Cavalier, former LeBron teammate.
Channing Frye.
Channing Frye. Yeah, shut.
Hey, you know what?
Sorry, let me say this to Channing Frye. My bad.
Shut your damn mouth.
Yeah.
His exact words, Tone, were, "Who cares?" I do.
Everybody cares. The NBA care. Every player should care. And when I get to the punishment, you'll see how much I care. So Kawhi wins an NBA championship in Toronto. Toronto wants to re-sign him. Mm-hmm. His uncle comes out and says, "I want an ownership stake in the Maple Leafs. I want a condo. I believe it was $10 or $15 million just off to the side. Actually. Yeah, 15 million. I want, and here's my private jet. Larry Tannenbaum, who is the part owner of the Raptors and part owner of the Leafs as well, says, I can't give you part ownership in the Leafs because I own both. It goes outside of the NBA CBA and they'll nullify the contract. Mm-hmm. So he goes basically to Jeannie Buss and makes the same offer, goes to the Clippers and makes the same offer. Everybody and their mother, even at the time, is like, hold on. Why did he sign with the Clippers? Oh, he wanted to go home to LA? Right away, you knew it was fishy when you heard all these things that the uncle was asking for. So everybody says, that's fine, and we let it go. Mm-hmm. Oh, Pablo, I will get to this in a second. Pablo currently investigating Shannon Frye? I don't know. Maybe Pablo's investigating LeBron. Shannon Frye trying to protect his meal ticket.
LeBron James.
HGH. We'll talk about that later. So he ends up with the Clippers. Fast forward now, right? Because who cares about the rest? Fast forward now. So
which, by the way, Tone, he's not from Los Angeles, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you guys know, he's not from actually Los Angeles. But keep going.
Well, he's from
San Diego. Is it from San Diego?
Okay, there you go.
San Diego's like 2 hours away from Los Angeles.
Close enough. It's where the Clippers should play, mind you. But yes, anyway, get them out of LA.
Mm-hmm.
So now this comes out that Aspiration paid him X amount of dollars, all these millions of dollars, and almost to the penny, I believe. No, they paid him $28 million, and Ballmer invested $30 million. Oh, they scammed me too. Really? Because when they were on the verge of bankruptcy and owed $2 million, your CFO cut a check to them for $2 million. Guys, it's not coincidence. It's not coincidence. So you can go find out all the specific details. I don't care about, I don't want to rehash all that because it's been out for so long. But if anybody has any questions, please ask. But let me get to my point of all this. They're guilty. Do we agree?
Yes.
Okay. Here's what needs
at minimum, you had something to do with this. On some level, you had something to do with this.
If I'm commissioner, here's how I put an end to this forever. You ready?
Oh boy.
1. Kawhi Leonard's contract is now null and void. He is banned. He is banned from the NBA for life. For life.
Whoa, you kicking him out the league, Tone?
For life.
What are we doing?
This is how seriously I take this. Not only that, he needs to pay back the money. And it goes into a fund for NBA retired players who are suffering and like the Delonte Wests of the world to get them help. Goes to an NBA charity for retired players. Oh, wait, that's just the tip of the iceberg, my guy. The Clippers lose 5 draft picks. First round draft picks, and his money stays on their it's still a cap hit. Steve Ballmer, this is why I know I'm too harsh and they'll never do this. Steve Ballmer has to sell the team. He can no longer ever be an owner again in the NBA. Oh, and by the way, he can only collect what he paid for it. So he makes no money on the transaction, and the rest of the money goes back to a fund that gets distributed to the rest of the NBA.
So if he sells this team, which is probably today worth about
10 billion.
3 or 4,
10 billion. No, the Lakers went for 10.
The Clippers aren't worth 10.
Okay, fine. 8.
I was about to say, I was going to say 3 or 4, but let's say 7.
They just built a new stadium.
Yeah, let's say 7. Of that $7 billion, I only get what I paid for, which was like what, $200 million?
No. Steve Ballmer bought it more recently. I want to say it was still in the billions. It was still in the billions.
So I get $1 billion. I get $1 billion or maybe $2 billion back.
Whatever he paid for it. Whatever he paid for.
Okay.
He sees no gain because he cheated the system. He cheated the NBA. This I find 1,000,000 times worse than Pete Rose gambling on baseball. 1,000,000 times worse what they did.
Tone, do you understand the Pandora's box that you open in doing this sort of thing?
And
the
reason
why I'm saying that. No, you're not. You actually opening, and the reason why you opening because there's other guys that are doing this kind of stuff all over the NBA.
Well, they better cover their asses.
And Pablo, he just opened. He basically just lifted up the curtain on them. Now, with that being said, Tone, all Kawhi Leonard was trying to do was recoup what he was promised. Did he know it was illegal? I don't think he cared. Because I think that this is something. I think that Kawhi Leonard is trying to get back not what he left on the table in Toronto.
Then he shouldn't have left it. Then he shouldn't have left it.
Well, he came to Los Angeles, which by the way I got that wrong. He actually is from Los Angeles area. He went to school in Riverside.
Oh, okay.
He went to college in
San Diego State. Yeah.
Okay. With that being said, I think the wording, and Kawhi Leonard strikes me as a smart guy. I think they gave him, because his uncle was handling his business. I think the wording that they gave him was, we're gonna get this bread back, and we're gonna get this bread back tenfold, especially in 2019, when James is already there. Now you go into the Clippers, they got this whole ad campaign with New Balance. We're gonna make this money back times 10 that you left on the table in Toronto. We're gonna make this money back times 10. How are we gonna make this money back? we haven't gotten into those details. No.
You said Kawhi's a smart guy, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so why would Aspiration pay him $30 million not to do anything?
Well, here's the thing. There's plenty of guys who, especially in the NBA, like I said, that's going on right now, Tone.
Who's ever paid someone to do nothing? And it be legal.
Okay, well, number one, I wasn't paid to do nothing. There were stipulations in the contract that I did have to do some things.
He did nothing.
Just because I did nothing didn't mean that. It's kind of like going to class, Tone. I ain't saying that you got to go to class every day, but I'm not saying that you can't neither. Like there's a stipulation in the contract where he's got to send like 50.
You ain't getting paid $30 million to go to class.
No, but you do get paid on some level. I mean, I did get a couple of dollars, and all I had to do was show up to class.
Okay, so ignorance of the law doesn't equal.
It doesn't absolve you of it. No, it doesn't.
It doesn't absolve you of it. So you didn't know the drug was illegal. You still got booked. You didn't know this was against the CBA rules. Well, you should have. That's why you don't hire your uncle. You have a manager, or you do it, or you do the reading yourself.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Everyone who's in here saying here, like Fluent farts, it's not Kawhi's fault. Yes, it is his fault. At the end of the day, the buck stops with Kawhi. It's 100% his fault and his responsibility to know.
Yeah, he could have done some homework. Yes, I'm not going to argue that point, Tone. He could have done some homework, and he could have found out what exactly this was, which I think as time went on, because again, this whole thing jumped off in like 2022. So he had already been there for 3 years at that point. So with this thing already, with this thing already jumping off, and him signing this agreement, knowing that there's certain things that they ask me to do. I don't have to do it, but there's certain things that they're asking me to do. They're asking like appearances and sending text messages and stuff like that. Even wearing some gear. Like I don't have to do it, but they're asking me to do this. Oh, can you put this on? Can you put this hat on? Can you put this shirt on? Stuff like that. Okay. With that being said, I do know as a professional basketball player, all right, well, do I care about where this money is coming from? And the fact that I don't have to do anything? Do I care about that? On some level, I do, because this could come back and bite me. Yes. So I would like to do some more homework on what this is. Tone, I'm on record saying this thing could have been nipped in the bud with Ballmer very simply. Steve Ballmer is $115 billion up. With him being $115 billion up, of that $40 million that was left on the table, what's to say that every night that Kawhi Leonard goes 25-7, 28-12, 29-7, there's a duffel bag on his locker, and that duffel bag got some cash in it.
That's what they did. But that's essentially what they did.
But okay, here's the difference though. Tone. The difference is the paper trail with aspirations. The cash, you don't know where this cash is coming from. You have no idea where this cash is coming from. You take aspirations out and the cash is still on the table. You don't know where that cash came from.
Yeah, but when he
no idea where it came from.
Deposit it into a bank or do whatever they will ask. It's cash is more questionable, but here I think they tried to cover it up. Stop laughing, Kawhi. It's not funny. I think they tried to cover it up with the paper trail to say, because like I said, they think they're that much smarter than everybody else. And let me just address a couple of things really quickly. I'm salty because Kawhi left the Raptors. I don't give a shit about Kawhi or the Raptors. I don't give a crap. I care about as a business what you did to the league. And you know, when you say you're opening up Pandora's box, when you say stuff like that, I say, okay, hold on. Let me do the super chat from Teddy. Cut Ballmer a deal if he outs the other owners who are doing similar things. He's definitely not the only one. It's the worst kept secret of the NBA. Ask Gil. I'd ask Gil nothing because Gil's full of crap. That being said, if he gets caught for this, right? If this happening now, and if you throw the book at him like I'm suggesting, what do you think other players and owners will do?
They'll probably stop doing what they're doing.
So you know what?
Or at least just get smarter about what we're doing, because
I'll even give them an out. I'll say this is what's happening to Kawhi, Steve Ballmer, and the Clippers. Take it as a note. And you know what? I'm going to give you 6 months amnesty to end any and all deals like this. But in 6 months plus a day, I'm coming for you. And if I find out, it'll be worse. You've been warned. And now it's done.
They might kill you. They might find your body somewhere in East.
Bring it. I'm ready.
Because it's too much. There's way too much going on in the NBA under the table for these guys to just now be just that water just now shuts off. Nah, Tone, we can't have that. No.
Are you suggesting that NBA players don't get paid enough money between contracts and endorsements and all these other things?
In fact, they get paid plenty. But again, with a guy like Kawhi Leonard, when I'm leaving money on the table, when I'm leaving money on the table, and legally you can't get me this $40 million back. Legally, you can't do that, right? So because legally you can't do that, here's what's gonna happen. I got to do it other ways.
Well, no, he could be sued. He could be sued, and there's ways because he subvented the CBA, which he signed a contract, circumvented the CBA, which he signed a contract stating that he wouldn't do that. So he is liable. He is liable.
That is fair. However, with that being said, Kawhi Leonard, does know that there might be something fishy going on, so I might want to cover my backside. So if I'm going to cover my backside, this paper trail that we got, I'm going to show that I was showing up. I was doing some things. But I think the difference is they told him, even though you have to do this, even though we're asking you to do this, yo, don't worry about doing that. Nah.
I'm just
don't worry about
flabbergasted by the amount of people, including yourself to a certain extent, who are trying to defend criminal activity.
I'm not trying to defend it at all. No,
it's illegal, right? What he did was 100% illegal and against the contract that he signed. Throw the book at him, and you know what?
I'm not throwing the book at Kawhi Leonard, nah, because the reason why I'm not doing that is because there's precedent here. The reason why I'm doing that. No, there's already precedent, Tone. This is what you're not going to do. If you end up hurting somebody in a car crash, and somebody already hurt somebody in a car crash, and they got 6 months, you end up hurting somebody in a car crash, I'm not going to throw you in the penitentiary for 20 years. That's not the way that works, Tone. No.
You know what? But if you went out with intent and you ran down 20 people purposely and hit them, and you had a paper trail that said that's what you were going to do, then damn right you should.
Oh, and the difference with that is that, okay, the first one with the precedent, which is with the Minnesota Timberwolves, we knew what was going on. And Minnesota is that kind of place where it's difficult to get free agents to come up here. So, yeah, we are going to grease people a little bit. Yes, Toronto is another place. We are going to grease people a little bit. Let's be clear, Tone. The LA Clippers, even though it's in Los Angeles, it ain't the most desirable organization to go play for.
Then you don't get that player.
There's a reason why you call them the Buffalo. There's a reason why you still call them the Buffalo Braves. So with that being said, I still have to be able to compete with the Lakers. I still have to be able to compete with the other teams in the league. So yeah, just like them, I am greasing. I'm breaking. They're breaking the rules too. They are breaking the rules too. Here's the difference. I'm just stupid about it. I'm just dumb about it. I'm getting caught doing it.
Well, guess what? The person who's dumb enough to get caught, that's the person who gets booked. I'm sorry. There's nothing you can do or anyone can say to change my mind that they need to throw. And all these people throwing out all these other names. Well, what about the okay? Brunson has been a name I'm seeing in the chat a lot. Brunson, I think everybody forgets when Brunson signed that deal with New York. What did we all say?
We was like, yo, they way overpaid for him.
We say he overpaid. Now he overplayed that contract, and now you're saying, oh wow, it was a steal. At the time, we weren't saying that. No one questioned Brunson going to New York. But however, if you can find the fact that he did that and they were paying him through a shell company to do other blah, 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 then yeah, 100%, he should get the same treatment. As of right now, the only thing I know for a fact is that Kawhi took a deal that paid him 30, 40, who knows? Who knows?
The deal was $28 million.
But there's more coming out. We're finding out more and more. So I'm saying at minimum $28 million extra on top of his thing to do nothing so that he would sign with the Clippers. and Ballmer was involved, and Kawhi was involved, and those are the two people that you can't do anything to his uncle, because his uncle's like he's not like an agent, or there's nothing that he's tied to registered to the NBA or the NBA Players Association. So you can't do
neither. Right.
You can't do nothing to him. So I'm going to make an exception. Sorry, I'm going to make an example. My apologies. I'm going to make an example of this and be like, you want to do this stuff? Hey, if you're smart enough to go untraced and we don't catch you, good for you. But you know what? When we do catch you, we're going to mess you up.
This is why we have unions, because of stuff like this right here. What you talking about, Tone? Because that's it, number one. It's unjust and it's unfair. Was I wrong for what I did? Steve Ballmer knew exactly what was going on here. He was just arrogant enough, just like Mark Cuban was arrogant enough to think that they would never get caught doing this. However, is this worse than what Donald Sterling did? Is this worse than what Pete Rose was doing? No, he was trying to circumvent the draft. He was trying to circumvent it. All I was doing was I got a player. I got a player, and I was trying to circumvent the salary cap by getting that player. And the process, which, by the way, was against the rules. And what's the penalty for that? The penalty for that, because of precedent, the Minnesota Timberwolves
lose the player.
five ones. They had to give up 4 ones. I'm sorry, they had to give up 4 ones and pay $2 million. Well, that's the precedent. Steve Ballmer, 26 years later, is doing the same thing. We already have precedent for this. We already have guys in the league already doing this. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to out those guys. I'm not going to be one of those guys that I got caught, so now I'm telling on everybody. No, this is about me, and this is about me only. No. So with this only being about me, with this only being about me, Tone, the precedent is 4 ones, $2 million. It shouldn't be more than that. I don't have to lose my team.
Hold on. For this, you're talking about Joe Smith?
Yes.
Okay. So 4 ones, and $2 million. Okay. And they don't get the player, right?
No, Joe Smith was Joe Smith was gone.
Joe Smith is gone. So you lose the player. That was 30 years ago. And that was the amount of money that they circumvented was $3 million.
Okay.
So this is $30 million 30 years later on a much grander scale. The punishment has to be worse.
But with it being worse, Tone, it can be. I'm not going to argue at that point, but we do have precedent. But it can't be astronomical, which is what you want to do. Guys getting kicked out of the league. Guys having to sell their team.
I want scorched earth so that no one does it again.
Not going that far. Absolutely not.
100%. Why is not playing anymore anyways? Who cares? That's why it's not like he's in his prime. It's not like it's changing. Like the Clippers aren't winning shit anyways. And no offense, I don't want an owner, just because they went light on the guy in Minnesota, I don't want an owner that thinks he is smarter than everybody else and that he could circumvent the CBA to do whatever he wants. No, that's the kind of owner I don't want. In fact, they should get rid of him and bring in a damn minority owner because we don't have any in the league.
First and foremost, Tone, they didn't go light on Minnesota. They lost 4 ones. We need those picks, Tone. Are you crazy? Minnesota is not Los Angeles. Minnesota is not New York. Minnesota is not Minnesota. There's a reason why Kevin Garnett was losing in the first round every year. The reason why he was losing is because we couldn't build up that team. We lose those first round picks. We can't get anybody in free agency. We were lucky to bag Latrell Sprewell, but we got him in year 12. We were lucky to bag Sam.
Minnesota's had first round picks since they came into the damn league. They've always sucked.
Yes, they did.
I don't think those 4 first round picks would have made a damn difference.
Really, Tone? Even though we got Kevin Garnett with our first round pick, we got Stephon Marbury with our first round pick.
Yeah, how right? So Stephon Marbury? That was great.
And we were building something. We made the playoffs with them. So if we continue to keep
and then what did they do? And what did they do? What did Minnesota do?
Okay, they did nothing because we lost those picks.
That's right.
And we got busted.
Good.
And that wrecked us. Same logic with the Clippers. Those first round picks you're going to give up because they already gave up a bunch of first round picks from the trade with who am I thinking about with James Harden. So now you want to add 5 more. So Tony, we might not have a first round pick for a decade.
You know what? You know what? Fine, I'll concede. Keep the picks. Keep the picks. Kawhi's gone. Ballmer's gone. Keep the picks. Keep them. Keep the picks. Keep the picks. I don't want an owner that thinks he can do this. And the fact that not only did he do it knowingly that it was wrong, then he went on a book tour to tell everybody that oh, they're lying, it's not true. So not only did you lie and cheat and steal, then you swore to it and you doubled down. No, out.
Even worse.
Out.
That's the part that I didn't understand.
And if it deters, listen, I get that people are still going to do it. I understand that. But if it deters one guy from doing it, it worked. And like I said, respectfully, Kawhi Leonard's done. Kawhi Leonard's done. So banning him for life, I think just makes everybody, in terms of the players, be like, hold on, I need to take a second before I say yes to this stuff, which is not a bad thing. And just for the record, you said it's worse than what Pete Rose did. Absolutely, or so it's not worse than what Pete Rose did. A million times worse. Pete Rose bet on his team to win. He didn't cheat the game and 29 other teams, and that's what he did. That's what Steve Ballmer and Kawhi Leonard did.
Are you sitting there telling me that that Pete Rose betting on his team to win didn't affect? By the way, he was coaching when this was going on, Tone. You're telling me that didn't affect his coaching style? That didn't affect him pulling players out because he knew that they were going to lose, possibly throwing games? That was 100% going on.
He bet on his own team to win.
Right, and with him betting on his own team to win, he's taking guys out of the game. He's not only is he taking guys out of the game, he's putting guys in the game who probably shouldn't be playing, but they are playing because they're good against this team.
That's what he should do. That's what a good coach should do.
But he's affecting outcomes of the game. 100% he's doing.
I'm not saying what he did was right. What I'm saying is I'd rather have a coach bet on his own team to win than an owner pay $30 million to get a player that. Let me ask you this, because this is the heart of the. If they said no, if the Raptors said no, the Lakers said no, if the Clippers said no, where do you think Kawhi goes?
He stays.
If everybody in the league says no,
he would have stayed. He would have renegotiated with Toronto, and he would have stayed there.
I don't believe that. I think he still goes to LA because he said he wanted to go home and be out of the cold.
Yeah.
And let's be honest. If he stayed in Canada, if he stayed on the Raptors, that was actually a better situation for him anyways.
Yes. And the most money, which is why he came home. And the most money.
Do it like every other player. Take the extra $40 million in Toronto and force a trade or work out a sign-in trade with Toronto and the Clippers or the Lakers or wherever you want it to go, like every other athlete does. What did LeBron do when he went to Miami? He already had the decision, but what did he do? He went back and said, hey, I'm going to sign a 6-year deal with Cleveland to get my max money, get them a couple of draft picks because that's my hometown and blah, blah, blah. And now it's a win-win for everybody. And listen to me, I'm defending LeBron James saying he did it the right way. What Kawhi did was wrong and deserves to be punished to the utmost. Now, what I'm saying, I know the NBA can't do. They can't do because it's beyond their power. What I'm saying is what they did was so horribly egregious that it should be scorched earth so that it never, ever do you want this to happen again?
It's going on. That's the difference. It's actually going on right now. And I'm not saying that
okay.
I think that we have a playing field that's unleveled. And I think that there's teams that they bend the rules in order to compete. So Charlotte isn't smart enough to be able to do this kind of stuff. Steve Ballmer, who is smart enough to understand
Charlotte could. Business. Charlotte is smart enough to do it, but Charlotte doesn't have the resources to do it. So now what's happening? Good night, love you. What's happening is you're already the big market team. You're already the desirable location.
Nobody wants to play for the Clippers, Tom. They didn't.
No, I said location.
Right, you want to live in Los Angeles, but you don't want to play for the Clippers. You don't.
Right. So what they're doing now is they're getting now an added. Not only do I have not the desirable team, but the desirable location, but now I have all this outside money that Charlotte can't offer, that Minnesota can't offer, that
so how do I compete with that, Tone? To your point,
how's Portland ever going to compete with the Clippers if I don't want to go to the Trailblazers or the Clippers, but I get $30 million under the table from the Clippers? I don't get that from Portland. How is Portland ever going to compete unless you scorch earth it and make sure it never happens again? Or option 2, Then just get rid of the damn salary cap. Make it like European, like Premier League football, and let everyone play whatever the hell they want to play, pay whatever they want to pay, and go nuts. Lose all the money in the world. Go ahead, because that's the only fair way to do it.
Well, the difference is that I know that you are doing this, Tone, and not only do I know that you're doing this, you as an owner, we have an agreement. What I mean when I say we have an agreement, I know you doing this, but I'm gonna keep my mouth shut about it. There's a competition going on between you and me. You think I don't know what's going on between Steve Ballmer and the Aspirations? I knew that as the owner of the Trailblazers. I knew that as the owner of the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know that. I ain't gonna tell you about it though, because I'm doing my own thing here. Because on some level, I have to be able to compete. Don't think for 1 second that I'm just getting it right in the draft every year. Don't think for 1 second that I'm just bagging free agents. No, I'm getting guys, and I'm getting guys to come here with incentive. Now, I'm not getting guys to come here with the incentive that the Clippers are, or what the Los Angeles Lakers or the Miami Heat or the New York Knicks are, but I'm getting guys to come here with incentive. And that incentive is bending the rules. In fact, sometimes even breaking them on some level.
Why have rules?
If that's the case, then we gotta completely rip the contract up and get rid of everybody in the league because they all doing it.
I don't believe they're all
not okay in this. I'm not okay in this.
Why would they? Why would anyone do a sign and trade then? If they're all doing it.
Why would anybody do a sign and trade? They would do a sign and trade because, Tone, this guy doesn't want to be with you. And because he doesn't want to be with you, I have something that you want. And with me having something that you want, you're not paying him. I'm going to give you back something of value in order for you to validate why you did what you did. That's why we're doing sign and trade.
Sign and trade is a legal way to give the player that extra money that they were losing by leaving the team that they were on and signing with and going to another team. So all this does is saying this is the illegal way to do it. And I'm sorry. I believe that if there's a legal way to do it, then why would you do it the illegal way? And if you do something illegal, I'm sorry. I'm 100% will never back down from this. It's an old saying. If you do the crime, you better be prepared to do the time. And to say you did the crime, but you know what? Everybody's doing it, so it's okay. No, I'm sorry, that's not good enough for me.
And I don't think that I think we're kind of going off the rail here because I don't think that that's my stance. My stance is what I did was wrong, and I'm not arguing that what I did was wrong. What you want to do is you want to scorch me to make an example out of me for everybody else. When this is one, we already have precedent for this, and two, this is specifically about me. This ain't about nobody else. This is going to go on. This is going to continue to go on. I'm not the only one.
Can I just ask a question? Sorry to interrupt. Did I say anything about Kawhi going to prison?
No, you didn't say.
Well, there's like 4 people saying I want Kawhi in prison.
Okay, first and foremost, Kawhi Leonard did not break the law here. Let's chill out now, guys. This is about. No, he did not. He did not break the law. No, he did not. He might have broke the law in the NBA. That's what he might have done because he took some bread under the table, but he ain't break the law where he looking at jail time. No, absolutely. And yes, he did say convicted, but convicted in the court of
not convicted in a court of law.
Stop, no. I mean, we don't have to take that literally. But the point is, Tone, is yes, I'm playing the game that everybody else is playing. I just so happen to get caught because of my own arrogance, and because of my own arrogance, I am going to take the brunt of this. Steve Ballmer, the Clippers organization. And because we have Kawhi, and because we have precedent because of this, the earth does not have to be scorched because of this.
Okay, but hold on. Let me ask you a question. Because you gave the Minnesota example, and they had to pay $2 million in 4 draft picks, right? So what do you think should be done to Ballmer, the Clippers, and Kawhi?
I think that what happened to Minnesota, I think that we should compound that with the Clippers. Okay, so number one, rip that $143 million extension that Kawhi Leonard signed, get rid of that. So that's voided. So let's start there.
So Kawhi's contract is null and void.
Yes, that's that. So one of the main reasons why he's there is because of this, and you ended up signing him back. So that $143 million extension, let's get rid of that. So that's out.
Is he a free agent?
Yes, he is a free agent. 100%.
Okay, so his contract is gone and he is a free agent. Okay.
And he's free to play for whomever he wants to play for. Now, remember, Tone, including the Clippers. Yes,
So he can just sign another $140 million deal with the Clippers,
which I don't think that they're going to do. In fact, to be honest with you, I think that I'd be doing them a favor if I ripped up that $143 million contract.
That's part of my issue. But keep going.
If I'm being honest with you, so we'll rip that contract up. Those draft picks, I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of those draft picks. So they already got. I think they're already on the books when they traded for James Harden. I think they gave up like 3 or 4 ones, and I'm down because we got precedent on this. I think it was 4 ones. I'll take the maximum is 5. I'll take 5 ones for them. So now they're looking at not having a first round pick for about 7-8 years. I'm comfortable with that. On top of that, Steve Ballmer, I think that I think a $2 million or $10 million. I think that's nothing. I think that's a drop in the bucket for you. You wipe your ass for $10 million. So I think that it's got to be something that's even more substantial than that. You, Steve Ballmer, you are suspended from the league for a year. You can't come around here for 1 year. And in addition to you not being able to come around here for a year, I need to hold $50 million. So rip Kawhi contract up. In addition to ripping Kawhi contract up, I need 5 ones from you guys. Steve Ballmer, you can't come around here for a year, and I need to hold $50 million.
I like this one too. I think they should both have to go plant all the trees by hand. Yeah, listen, this. Okay, hold on. Teddy says, if you throw the book, they get smarter at hiding it. Mm-hmm. If you cut Ballmer deal to flip on the others, you further weed out the problem.
No, Teddy. Here's the issue with that. So to your point, if you throw the book at them, that's when drug dealers see kingpins go to jail for 30 years, they're like, nah, they ain't getting out the game. They just find a better way to distribute. They find a better way to move the stuff. And to your point, will they flip on each other? I'm not sure that they're going to flip on each other, but I think I think that they'll make it worth their while not to flip on each other, because a lot of these guys now, they'll be in cahoots with each other to make sure that it doesn't happen again, that we don't get roped up like this again.
Like I said, I don't think we'll ever agree on this, because I think the only way to get people to stop doing it is to make them stop doing it. And I don't think if you don't set an extreme example, I don't think anything ever changes. So be it. Speaking of the Clippers, however, let's talk a little basketball about the Clippers, because the team that kind of ran the West last year was the OKC Thunder.
Correct.
The 2 biggest threats to the OKC Thunder apparently are the Denver Nuggets and said Los Angeles Clippers. Now, in my scorched earth, they don't have Kawhi, and they are no longer a threat to OKC. Is this correct? Accurate? Inaccurate? Agree? Disagree?
I think the Denver Nuggets are definitely a threat to OKC. If Aaron Gordon stays healthy, I think we got a different game. I think we got a different game 7. I think we got a different series. They filled all the gaps that were there with the Denver Nuggets. So I think they upgraded at the small forward position, trading for Cam Johnson, getting Valanciunas as a backup. I think that's fantastic for them. In addition to getting Valanciunas, getting Tim Hardaway Jr.
I really like that addition, actually.
I feel like they shored up their bench, and with them shoring up their bench, they got 8-9 guys, which they didn't have last year. They got 8-9 guys that just make them so much more viable today than they were last year. And I think that they're a huge threat to them. I think Dallas is more of a threat to Oklahoma City than the Clippers are, because I don't think the Clippers are going to hold up, if I'm being honest with you, Tone. As good as they are, I just don't think that they're going to hold up. And I don't think Houston is much of a threat to them, but I think Minnesota's going to give them trouble this season coming up. I think the Lakers are going to give them more trouble because they got better. Denver, Dallas, and just in the Western Conference, Denver, Dallas, the Lakers, I think, are going to give them more trouble. So those are the teams that I'm thinking about in particular. Not the Clippers, no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't. With or without this distraction, as you know, I'm not never sold on the Clippers, so I'm not.
No.
I still think OKC is the team to beat. I do like I agree with you. I hate to say this because I really do like. And then, yes, this WNBA game is going down to the wire.
It's awesome.
Yeah, that being said, you're watching it to your left. I'm watching it right over the right over there. And I don't know how to say this. I'm trying to, because I know people will take it wrong. I feel like not having Russ is a good thing.
Why so?
Because he played better than expected, I think, for Denver last year. I don't think anyone expected that. I feel like Russ has been too good of a player historically. And he's not that same guy anymore. And I feel like players like that sometimes can be a distraction. And I hate to say it. I feel like him not being on the squad kind of helps them a little bit. It's kind of like, remember when Carmelo could still play and no one wanted to sign him, and even though
focus so much on him.
And I think it's one of those. It's not like he's a bad player. It's not like he can't help the team. It's not like he's not good, because he still goes to Portland, I think, and he contributes, and it's good. I just think sometimes the name of a player sometimes can be a distraction to the chemistry of a team, and it's something you can't explain. It's something you can't measure, and that's why people don't like it. And again, I don't want people taking it like I don't think Russ played well or that Russ isn't a great player. I think it's just, I feel like
I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean, Tone. I think that Russ, for who Russ is, it's almost like he's overqualified for this job. I think that's I think that's the logic. Yeah. Like, you shouldn't be doing this.
Why are you
be doing something else?
Why are you doing that? Yeah.
And the fact that he's still here, it's like it kind of takes away from what we're trying to do, because you should be in a position. I mean, there was times during the season where, there was asking the question, should he be starting over Jamal Murray? Should he be starting with Jamal Murray? And okay, we don't want that kind of distraction going on. And the reason why we don't want that is because we already got a good enough team as it is. And the idea of having Russ on the crew could be a distraction. But I also thought that with having him, the vet presence that he was, how good he was playing for them. Yes, he had stretches where he was bad, but how good he was playing for them throughout the entirety of the season, I think it really helped them. Now, don't get me wrong, Tone. I do understand that now dumbing that down and getting more role players is going to help them, because now we get away from the namesake, and we get guys who are just more role players, quote unquote, and they're more comfortable in what we're doing. So, I mean, I can get with that to an extent. So I understand.
Sure. We have a lot of topics, so we're going to go a little speed round. Speaking of threats in the West, many would have said Houston. Many still will say Houston. How big of a concern is Fred VanVleet's torn ACL gone for the season?
Tone, I'm in the minority when I say this. I think that losing Sengun would have been a bigger deal than losing Fred VanVleet. Number one, you know how I feel about this kid, Amen Thompson, and I've been adamant about this, that I wanted to give him the ball, and I want the offense to run through Sengun a little bit more. In fact, a lot more. I wanted him to be our hub, but I wanted him to be more of the primary ball handler. You got this kid, Reed Shepherd, who I'm expecting a jump from him, and with me expecting a jump from him, I expect a jump from all of these other guys. And the reason why I feel like that is because with the addition of KD, now what you've done is you've increased the time. You've sped up the timeline. See, if KD isn't there and you still got Jalen Green and you still got Dylan Brooks, we were a number 2 seed last year. Okay, we had a good year. Now we're on everybody else's radar, right? With us being on everybody else's radar, we ain't sneaking up on nobody. So, but we still got nobody thinks that we can win it. When you add KD and we're still able to keep our core, what now happens is we got championship aspirations. With us having championship aspirations, guys like Reed Shepherd, Amen Thompson, Jabari, Tari, Sengun, those guys, now we got to speed them up. And in order for that to happen, I think that a guy like Amin Thompson, I want to give him the basketball. Excuse me, I want to give him the basketball, and I want him to be better. And I think that he can be. I think that he can be a better ball handler. I think that he can be a better distributor. I think that he's one of the best defensive guards in the league. I think definitely for Houston, he's their best point of attack defender, and he speeds them up. I'm looking for him to be more of a distributor because he was that when he was in not G League Ignite, but overtime. I think that's the league. Yeah. He was that when he was in overtime. So with him being that, I think that he can.
Over, but yes, go ahead.
Overtime is definitely expired, no doubt about that. But with that being said, Tone, I think that he can be more of a primary ball handler like he was there. I don't want to turn him into like this. I don't want to turn him into this energy transition guy. No, I want to expand his game. I want to give him the ball. The archetype that I see when I see him is piece. I'm thinking Grant Hill. I'm thinking that kind of archetype. Now, Tone, when you hear me say that, don't think Grant Hill, the all-star. Don't think Scottie Pippen, the all-pro that was on the championship Bulls. Think year 2 Scottie Pippen. Think year 3 Scottie Pippen, who's turning into that. And that's what I'm thinking about with Amin Thompson. I think that I got a guy who can possibly turn into that. And I think he's in the right system with the right coach in Ime Udoka. And I think that it can work.
Do you remember what I said at the end of last year about the Rockets?
No, I don't.
If they did a certain thing in the offseason, it would ruin them.
You said that if they traded for KD, that it's not going to be good. You did say that.
I did say that.
Yes,
and so I'm going to stick to my guns and say, here's why I thought at the end of last season when I said they're going to do something stupid like trade for KD and it's going to hurt them, and why I'm going to stick to that. So you said something interesting. You said, think of like Scottie Pippen in year 2. Who was Scottie Pippen in year 2?
He was a guy with Jordan, and he was becoming. We didn't know who he was yet. Like in 88, 89.
So now what you're asking is we're taking away. So I think actually Fred VanVleet, I think, is a huge loss for them because I think as many of these veterans, and they have others, don't get me wrong, but that is one position where they're very weak now. Because as great as you say, Amin Thompson can be, he's not like a point guard that can kind of, facilitate the offense and get everybody their opportunities. And KD's much better team. But KD's kind of, I feel like he's back in Phoenix. And what was the issue in Phoenix? They didn't have that floor general, for lack of a better term, that you just kind of make sure everyone's getting their touches, everyone's, involved in what's going on. Now, this team's not like that. They don't have a Booker and a Beal and a KD that they need to feed. But now you're asking a bunch of young kids who aren't ready. You just said it. The men isn't there, who are not ready. You're going to put championship aspirations on them. That's a lot of pressure. I don't think they're ready for it. Now, they might, to your point, be ready in 2 or 3 years from now. But is this season a failure if Houston doesn't go to the Western Conference Finals?
That's why they got KD. Yes, this season is a failure if they don't do that.
Right. And so so you're putting Western Conference at minimum on this team of mostly young guys who you want to run the offense through Sengun as good as he is as that. He is not Jokic, right? Everyone wants to compare baby Jokic, but he's not him.
No.
And I think unless so there is an out for them. Unless someone steps up as that floor general type of person, they're gonna go through stretches where they really struggle, and I think it's gonna be hard for them to get to that Western Conference final that is the expectation. So again, not saying they're gonna suck, not saying they're not making the playoffs. I'm not saying they're Philadelphia last year, right? I'm just saying I think it's gonna be really difficult for them to get to the Western Conference final unless someone other than KD. KD is going to do KD things. Yeah. I'm not concerned with KD, with his age, with it. Nothing. He's going to do what he does. There needs to be that person. And so I think until we see that person, they're going to struggle to get to the Western Conference final. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying they're not making it to the second round or anything like that.
Which is fair.
To be a top 4 or 5 seed, they will. It's that last step that you expect him to get to this year that I think that's where Fred, I think with Fred, I would have said, yeah, they're making the Western Conference Final. I'm pretty confident. Without Fred, I'm like, who's going to be that person that, he'll hit a big shot like that he has no business making, right? That wins a game, that can alter a series.
Yep.
Who's going to be that person?
So, and
I want to be very, very clear because I know I'm going to get that. I'm not saying that they're going to be the 10th seed.
Right.
Okay.
Well, the last thing I want to say about this, Tone, is the fact that when they traded for KD, they were able to hold on to Sengun, Jabari, Tari, and Amen Thompson. That's a big deal for me.
Sure. When I said what I said about if they're going to do something stupid like trade for KD, that they were going to give up too much and it was going to pull it all up. So I can't
believe that.
Great job.
I'm blown away that they were able to keep that. So with that being said, Tone, I think that at minimum, we're still going to be able to be this good defensively. So we're going to win games.
Defense will be their calling.
Yeah, and that's what it was last year, which would explain why we ended up with the number 2 seed like we did. So with that being said, boom, games tied. Minnesota and Phoenix, games tied. They're going to go into overtime.
Yeah, 3 seconds left. I don't know. Maybe get last second shot. 79 for those watching.
This game's going to end up going into overtime. But what I'm saying, Tone, is that's going to be our calling card. We're still going to be able to do that. Now, what I'm anticipating Amen getting better. I'm anticipating Jabari getting better. And I think the fact that KD is there as a bucket getter, I think that he's going to enhance those guys as
absolutely what they needed. Absolutely.
Yes, he's going to help them get better. I think the problem is that with getting KD, the championship is expected now, and they're not there yet.
And that's my point, is that championship is expected now. They're not there yet. And how will these guys respond to now the target being on their back? Because it's different when you're the team that is young and no one's expecting. It's different when everyone's watching and they're like, oh, okay, we're going to give you our best. We're going to give you our best. And yes, Thunder, I said they got KD for much less than I expected. So next, your guy, Jason Tatum, literally sat there and cried for 2 hours because so many things ran through his mind. Damn, is my career over? Am I going to get traded? Are all my partners going to drop me? My basketball career flashed in front of my eyes. I'm in my prime, one of the best basketball players in the world, and it felt like it was all taken away.
Yep.
The question is, does that make Tatum? Because some people are saying it does. Does that make him soft?
No, it doesn't. And I actually thought about this. And the reason why I don't think that it made him soft is because a lot of these guys, in fact, most of these guys, no, I'll say it, Tone, all of these guys, my superhuman ability is my ability. And when I get injured, now I have to face mortality that, I can't do what I used to be able to do anymore. So does that mean I'm over? Am I not going to be able to do this anymore? Am I going to just be finished? Can I not run as fast? I remember telling you this story, Tone. I remember breaking my foot my freshman year in college, and it was only a 6-week injury, but I had never broken my foot before. And immediately my thought process, am I going to be able to run as fast as I used to run? Can I jump as high as I used to be able to jump? Am I going to be able to play Division I basketball? Am I going to be able to do this like I was able to do it before? Because your mortality, because your superpower is now zapped from you, are you going to be able to get that back? And Jason Tatum immediately thinks that, because, again, a lot of these guys are on some level and in their mind have levels of superhuman ability to them. And when that comes in question, like an Achilles tear, like an ACL injury, like a torn up shoulder where I can't hardly lift my arm, things like that. When that stuff happens, Tone, what immediately happens is now I question who I am. And now I question, can I do what I used to be able to do? So it's just a matter of time before he can get back. But I do understand in that moment, yes, you 100% are thinking that. That's not about being soft. That's just being human.
When you're young, you think you're invincible until something happens that shows you you're not. And when the one I saw was when he said he cried, and everyone was like, cried, like, that's soft. And I'm like, no, it's not. I go, if you've ever I've torn my Achilles, I'll tell you, I cried for 2 weeks. I cried because I was like, I didn't think it was going to be a career. And then I got good enough where I was like, wow, I can actually, not NBA good, but I can get paid to play basketball. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And now that's gone. Man, that's depressing. And for those, and then so I had someone say, well, Kobe walked off the court. Sure did. Went into the locker room, and you know what he did? He cried. He cried because it hurt. Like when you take off your shoe, I think was the worst. Like I remember them like, yeah, and they had to cut it. They had to cut the shoe, and it was just like it was excruciating. But it's not just about the pain. It's about, okay, what next? Because you're now. I can only imagine Tatum going, I'm an MVP caliber NBA player. Mm-hmm. Is my career over? Because now, you know, you're 30 years old. You got 60 more years of life. Now what? Mm-hmm. Now what? And so I think anyone that says that's soft is just they've never been injured before and they've never lost anything before, because that's immediately what you think of is all the things that I'm going to lose in addition to the pain. So I think yeah, I don't think it's soft at all. And you know what? I respect him for allowing himself to be vulnerable and like open up and say that, because he could have just said, "No, go back to the grind, gotta blah blah blah," like the cliche stuff. But no, he was honest about it. So
no, you really don't feel like that.
I know you're lying when you say that.
Yeah, we know that you really don't feel like that. We know that in that moment you were thinking, "Oh shit, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play again. I just snapped my Achilles. This is a year-long injury. I'm finished."
Zion is healthy. Zion is in shape. Is this the year of Zion?
It may be, Tone. I mean, he looks like he's down about 30 pounds. He looks in fantastic shape. I think one of the main is like I haven't seen him look like this since he was in school.
I don't even look like that in school.
You might be right, Tone. But this kind of shape though, and I don't know if he may be stronger. He may be able to jump higher. I'm not sure. I don't know. But I tell you what, seeing him like this tells me that his mind is absolutely on basketball. His mind isn't anywhere else. He ain't thinking about food. If he's thinking about food, he's thinking about the type of food I should be eating. And I'm on record saying that I feel like when Zion, if I could get some years of health from Zion, the way we talk about Giannis, the way we talk about Luka, the way we talk about Jason Tatum, we'll be talking about him like that too, because he's that good. He is good.
You know what I want to see in addition to the looking in shape? I want him to be mad.
So a chip on his shoulder.
I want him to be angry. I want him to come in and say, I'm playing like I have something to prove, but that thing that he has to prove is that I can play, 75, 80 plus games. Mm-hmm. That I can, whatever it is, lead the league in rebounds or lead the league in scoring. I don't even care what it is. It's like I want him to go out with that mentality that I'm going to be an all-pro. I'm going to be whatever it is. I just want him to come out with that. I say anger, but that drive, that hunger to achieve a couple of things. One being to play a bunch, stay healthy, and dominate something. And I don't care if he doesn't even get there, but he is so good. And if you remember when he got drafted, what I said, because of the fear of injury, that's the only thing that can stop him. That's if you're going to call him a bust, it's because he got hurt. If you recall, when he got drafted, that's what I said for those that were around. And that's been the case. And I said, I hope it isn't. I hope I don't. I want him to be healthy. Blah, blah, blah. I said, and so I hope this is that thing that triggers his full potential, because like you said, he's too good.
He is, Tom. He just is. He's too good. He's got too much talent to be. He's got too much talent to just be that kind of player. He's too much talent to be just known as an injury. Yeah. As an injury prone player. And the fact that he's in this kind of shape, I just love that about him, man. I do. I just love that about him. And this New Orleans team, I don't think that they're going to be very good this year, but if they're going to compete, he's got to be healthy. He's got to play, to your point, he's got to play 65, 70 games. If they're going to compete on any level, he's got to play that many games. And I think that, I think he will. I do. I think that he will this season. I expect, to be honest with you, Tone, we're seeing him. I expect to see all-star, possibly all-pro Zion Williamson. That's what I expect.
You're wondering why I'm showing not Anthony Edwards, and this is about Anthony Edwards. But Shams came out recently and said that he will Anthony Edwards last year went in the offseason, worked on his 3-point shooting and led the league and made 3-pointers last year. Obviously his team still underperformed. He went out this year, this offseason, excuse me, and he worked on his post game, low post, high post. He wants to dominate the mid range. He worked on his fadeaway, watched a lot of tape, Jordan, Kobe. And the question is this good for Ant?
It is. It's another aspect of his game that he can expand. I think that him playing off the ball a little bit more, I think him playing off the ball a little bit more, I think that's the difference. To be honest with you, him playing off the ball and playing more like a 2-guard, I think that really would help. That's what I was actually looking for. Like him being able to play in the post, him being able to play on the block a little bit more. All right, I could get with that. I mean, I actually expected that. Like, that's not something that I'm surprised about. I mean, I expected him to be that, but I'm expecting him to be smarter off the basketball. He already makes great plays when he's on the ball. He already makes great plays when he gets double teamed. He already makes great plays. He already makes great plays when he gets double teamed. He already makes great plays one-on-one. He already makes great plays when the defense collapses. I'm thinking about when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. I'm thinking about how much better Kobe Bryant was in the triangle when he stopped chasing the ball. Like when he played off the ball and he learned how to play off of Shaq. When he got Pau Gasol and he learned how to play with Pau Gasol and he learned how to play off the ball instead of chasing the ball, how much better he got. That's what I'm looking for with Anthony Edwards. I'm looking for him to cut to the basketball. I'm looking for him how he uses screens, how he navigates screens, things like that. I'm looking for stuff like that more than I am his box work, because I think that's going to come anyway. Tone, I'm on record saying I think we're in year 2 of the 5-year plan, where I said I think within 5 years I think he's going to be the best guard in the game, and I think he's going to be the league MVP at some point. I think he's that good.
I like him working on his post game, and he's got the athleticism to have that fadeaway like Jordan and Kobe had. And it's important. And the thing is, as big as 3-point shooting is in today's NBA, what separates winning teams in the playoffs from losing teams isn't the 3-point shooting. It's how effective they are in the mid-range, and not just making shots in the mid-range, but playmaking out of the mid-range. And so I think that's one aspect of it where, okay, he's going to be able to score in the mid-range if he has, which is going to be super important in the playoffs. He's going to need it. I have a feeling we're going to have the same conversation next year about they underperformed, and now he's got to work on his playmaking. And it's not just because of Minnesota, but it's also it's a tough West.
It's a nightmare of a Western Conference. Tone, like I said, I think that it's going to take. Like, I think we can have 8 teams in the league. I think we can have 8 50-win teams. I mean, I don't think that's ridiculous.
I do. Yeah, I don't think that's ridiculous.
I do.
All right. So apparently the Warriors are going to get like 75 people when they get rid of Kuminga. And they're going to sign Al Horford, Seth Curry, Gary Payton, DeAnthony Melton, me, you, Kawhi, probably he'll be available by then. And they're going to be set to go. What are your thoughts on, like, how much does this help, hurt? The
Kuminga situation. So the Kuminga situation. I mean, it looks like he's going to sign It looks like he's going to end up signing, because I don't think they're going to trade him. So it looks like he's going to sign that qualifying offer. With him signing that qualifying offer. Okay, now that this shores up another vet in Al Horford, I think Seth Curry, That's another long ball shooter. Getting Gary Payton Jr., getting Gary Payton the second back, I think that helps. Melton, if I'm not mistaken, Melton tore up his knee. So if he wasn't on the crew last year, they got him from Philly. So I think they're going to end up bringing him back. So I think that this gives them the depth that they was looking for, and I think that this definitely makes them better. I'm how you felt about Philly last year, Tone? That's how I felt about the Warriors. I don't think they're making the playoffs this year. I think they.
Wow.
I don't think they're making the playoffs off the strength that I think that the Western Conference is just so good. And
you don't think the Warriors are one of those 50-win teams? Is what you're saying?
I just don't. I don't. I think that they rely way too much on Curry. Especially as bucket getters, they rely way too much on Curry. They rely way too much on Curry, and like they got Jimmy Butler, and everybody thought, Jimmy Butler is to say, you average 17 a game. That's not enough. That's not going to get it done on this Warriors team. No. And they expect him to be Jimmy Butler from the Miami Heat when he was taking that team to the NBA Finals. Nope. That Jimmy Butler is gone too. So I think that this is a Warriors team that they got a lot of flaws, but with them having a lot of flaws, I mean, their defense is going to be their staple. Kind of like what happened with Houston. That's why they jumped out the box the way that they did, right? That's why they jumped out the box the way that they did in the beginning of the season when they started 12-3, because their defense was one of the best defenses in the league. So we'll see. How do
you like the new Fluent Chill logo?
I think that's dope, Tone. Yeah.
I don't think you noticed it.
I did notice that. That's dope. This is so nasty right here, Tone. I do not like this at all. This is a disgusting lineup to go up against. My goodness. This is like the Monstars for real.
Do you feel like it's SGA, Luka, Giannis, Victor, and Jokic. Where I struggle with the world team is that it's the depth. So who comes in after these guys? Who's the next five?
So you got France, you got Lauri Markkanen, you got Jamal Murray, Lou Dort. Let's see. I'm 100% confident that you got Zubac. I'm confident that I'm forgetting some people in terms of in terms of world team. Let's see. Like Indiana doesn't have anybody. Like I said, France.
What do you mean? Indiana has Nembhard, Mathurin.
No.
So here's my thing. I think this ends up being
Alex Sarr too, because I love that kid Alex Sarr.
I think this ends up being a really good matchup, and for the simple fact that the world has, I think, 5 of the top 7, 8 players in the NBA. But I think the rest is US born players. So depending on like where everybody says they are, because some of them are not actually US players, but they are US players. I think the teams will balance out because of the depth. But I think this will absolutely add some excitement. Absolutely will create something to talk about and a reason to watch, which is
there's a gap. There's a gap too, Tone, after so these 5 guys, and
who's the worst of these 5?
Vic.
Okay, and that's because he's young. Okay,
yeah.
Who's the next best?
So the next best international player is the 6th best international player in the game. Is France, either France or Siakam.
There's a gap.
Yeah.
No disrespect to them. There's a gap.
Yes, there is a gap. France, then Siakam, then Lauri Markkanen, Siakam, France, Lauri Markkanen, like Jamal Murray. Like I feel like after those 5 guys, I think that there's a significant gap in the rest of those guys. Significant.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But you're gonna watch, right? You're gonna this at least.
Oh, I'm 100% gonna watch this. Yes, I am.
My favorite topic.
Shooter's paradise over here, coming from a shooter.
That would be my 12-man roster.
Yep, my man right here. He's a shooter.
That would be my roster. Okay, so it says favorite. So it says favorite. So we were supposed to do this a couple of weeks ago.
Those two things are not the same thing, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know, the best and favorite are not the same thing. Dominique Wilkins is my favorite. He's not favorite. James,
so this is favorite. So we were supposed to list our top 20 and we didn't do it. So I'm gonna list my top 20 favorite players of all time, and I want you to stop me when one of these guys is on the list, and then you'll answer. And I'm gonna start from 20 and work my way down. And you stop me when one of these guys is on the list, and then you'll know which one is my favorite 3-point shooter. Starting at number 20, Anthony Edwards. Is that surprising you at all, by the way, that he's my 20th favorite player all time?
Wow, Anthony Edwards.
I like watching him play. Number 19, Dennis Rodman.
He's not on here. No.
Number 18, Luka Doncic.
Luka's not on here neither. No.
Number 17, Dominique Wilkins.
Nick is not on here.
Number 16, Michael Jordan.
Jay's not on here neither.
I'm waiting for people to like lose their minds when they hear Michael Jordan 16th all time.
That's crazy as hell though, too. By the way.
Number 15, Charles Barkley.
Barkley is. You like watching Barkley more than you like watching Jordan. That's incredible.
I loved Barkley. He was higher, but as things have changed, he just moved down the list. Number 14, and when I did the list, I was like, I couldn't believe I had him at 14. I thought this person would have been higher too. Kevin Garnett. Number 13. This one's gonna blow your mind, but listen, man, I love watching him play.
LeBron James.
Number 12, Kevin Durant. Because is he on this? He's not on here.
No, he is not. No KD.
Man. Number 11, Vinsanity, Vince Carter.
No Vince Carter neither.
Number 10, the myth, not the legend, not the man, just the myth. Wilt Chamberlain. Number 9, and I guarantee you he's not on this list either. Giannis Antetokounmpo.
No Giannis.
Number 8, Jerry West.
No Jerry West neither.
That's basketball. Number 7, Elgin Baylor.
No Elgin Baylor. Nope.
Number 6, Allen Iverson.
Nope. No Allen Iverson.
Number 5, Shaquille O'Neal.
No Diesel. Diesel's not a 3-point shooter. No.
Number 4, all-time, Steph Curry.
Here he is, right there, next to Ray Allen.
So when you ask who is my favorite 3-point shooter, if I'd gone the other way, number 1, Magic Johnson. Number 2, Kobe Bryant. Number 3, James Worthy. Everyone knows those 3. I always tell them my top 3 favorite players all time are those 3. And number 4 is Steph Curry, because Steph Curry that's exactly like if if a genie said, hey, you have 3 wishes. And I was like, okay, well, how would I want to play basketball? It's Steph Curry. Because that's how I tried to play basketball anyways.
Before Steph Curry even showed up.
He's just I was doing it 20 years before him. He's just way more better at it than I am. But that's exactly how I want. Like, I wanted to pull up from the logo. I, in fact, have a video of me. If you remember it, I think I showed it to you, where my son and I are playing a little bit on the Toronto Raptors court. And he's like, and I just pull up from the logo. Like, that's just what I do. And I made it, by the way, for those. I can show you the video. But that's just instinctive. So I think for me, it's Steph. It's probably Peja, because we have that relationship where we, with Pauk in Greece. Ray Allen, how can you not cheer for Jesus Shuttlesworth? And then it kind of gets weird after that. I'll tell you who's what is there, 4, 8, 12 guys on this list? I'll tell you who's number 13. It's JJ Redick. If I have to pick my favorite 12, JJ's 13.
He shouldn't even be on this list. I'm thinking of, is JJ Redick a better long ball shooter than Craig Hodges?
No. He couldn't carry his jockstrap.
I don't think so neither. I think Craig Hodges was a better long ball shooter than JJ Redick. My favorite, because to your point, Tone, like, there's a difference between the best and your favorite.
Absolutely.
The best is Curry. My favorite is Kyle Korver was something else. But my favorite was Bird. Yes, Bird is my favorite. Yes, Bird is my favorite.
Yeah,
Bird.
I can't get with the Celtic. I can't get with the Celtic.
Well, it's obvious you can't get with the Celtic because the 20 players that you ran down, I think 9 of them were Lakers. By the way, I just want to make sure we're clear on that.
Actually, so hold on. So Magic, Kobe, Worthy, Shaq, Baylor, West, Wilt, LeBron, Luka, Rodman.
So half the list is Lakers.
Half the list have either Lakers or played.
Yes.
Even Rodman only played for a minute. Even though Rodman moved to 19 from 21 because he was on.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Two more. We got 5. This is time's running well. Time's running good. All right. Whoa. Pick 2 to get a ring. The rest retire ringless.
The rest retire ringless. I think that we live in an era of parity, and I think because we live in an era of parity, I think that the door has opened and closed on some of these guys. I think the door already closed on him.
But no, you get to pick. But I don't think there's a caveat that who could win. It's basically saying if you could pick any 2 guys that you'd want to have a ring for their career,
pick 2 to get a ring,
any 2 that you want that in the but at the expense of everyone else. So there's 10 guys on the list. You can pick 2 that could get a ring, not who deserve it or who are gonna.
Sure.
Any 2 that you want to have a ring, but then the other 8, they never get one.
Donovan Mitchell in between Wemby, Paolo, and Anthony Edwards. Definitely Donovan Mitchell. Because I think that he could I think he's going to shut a lot of people up with being the number 1 on the championship team. Anthony Edwards, I think we close, man. Wemby, I think it would just be expected that he wins. And Paolo, I think Paolo's going to be better than what people think as good as people think he's going to be. I think he's going to be better than that.
Hold on. All these players are under 30 and you're telling me Book's window is closed?
I think, to be honest with you, Tone, I feel like because of this era, and I feel like because of the parity, I think that I think his time came and went in this era. When they went to the finals in 21, I think that was it. He hasn't sniffed the finals since then. Same thing with Halliburton. I don't think I'm gonna see Indiana in the finals again this decade. I doubt very seriously that I see him again in the finals. I don't think so. Luka, I already seen him in the finals. I'm not sure he getting back, even though that Laker team is a lot better. I'd be surprised if they was in the NBA championship. But I don't know how you feel that you're a Laker guy. But same thing, I think, with Ja. I think that Oklahoma City team, I think that Oklahoma City is who Memphis was supposed to be. I think their window is already closed with that group. So if Ja's going to do it, I think he's going to have to do it somewhere else or with a different group. And building around a guy like Ja who has been beat up like he's been beat up, I think that's putting a lot on it. So Donovan Mitchell, I wouldn't mind seeing Cade Cunningham, even though I'm not a huge Detroit guy because of the bad boy stench that's still on me. But I wouldn't mind seeing Cade do it. But if I got to pick 2, Tone, I'm only picking 2.
Yes.
It's Donovan Mitchell and it's Paolo.
Mitchell and Paolo. Okay, you got the top right there. All right. So I'm going to go clearly the first one's easy, obviously. Luka needs to have a ring. He needs to have a ring in that jersey. And let's not even, if I need to explain it, no, you haven't been paying attention. So Luka is 1. So now it comes down to the other 9. And I have a reason for almost all of them. And that's why this is tough. Now, Hallie, I don't care. He's out. Booker, I could give a shit. He's out. Ant, I really want to have a ring, but he's a bit of a jerk. So he's out. Ja, if you had asked me this 2 years ago, the first name I would have said was Ja. Because remember, 2 years ago, I was like, I will pay money to watch him play. He's one of the few people that I'll actually buy a ticket for. Everybody else, I sneak into the arena for free. But Ja, I pay money to watch him play. I've softened on that stance, so he's out. I hate Donovan Mitchell, so I think he's Gabricio. So he's out. So now Cade, man, initially when I first saw this, like Luka and Cade, and it wasn't even a thought. And I'm like, Detroit, my second favorite city, Detroit. Let's go. Let's win one for Detroit. But I thought about it a little more, and I went away. So now that leaves the three guys in the middle, and I'm like, Wemby's probably gonna win one at some point in his career, but I'm not hoping and wishing and praying. Like I care less about him. I don't know why. I know he's wonderful and he's great and he's a super freak, 7'4". I don't give a crap about Wemby. And I know you kind of probably felt that from the draft when I was like, nah. I don't know why. It just I feel like he's Melba toast. I have no interest in Wemby, so he's out. Paulo's an interesting one where I'm like, a lot of guys leave Orlando and end up in LA, so that might be a good one.
In fact, the guys who left Orlando ended up in a Laker jersey. Yes, that ended up happening.
It's so, but you picked them, so you picked them. So I'm going to switch over and say, I want to see Zion. I want to get Zion a ring because Zion reminds me of. I know this sounds crazy, but you'll understand it. Most people in the chat won't. They'll probably rip me for this, but you'll understand it. He reminds me so much of Charles Barkley, and I had wished that Barkley, as you saw, high on my list of favorite players, I had wished that he would have won a title. And so, you know what? I'm going to pass that legacy on and be like an undersized, power forward who plays big. I want him to get a ring. So I'm going to go Luka and Zion.
The thing I think about with Wemby is I just think about the archetype of player that he is. And a guy that big, I feel like the window for him to win it, I don't think it's open that long, Tone. I don't think he's going to be around 12, 15 years. I don't think he's going to play that long because I don't think he's going to hold up. I don't. I don't think he's going to hold up. But I do think that I'm going to get anywhere between 8 to 10 years out of him. I do think that I'm going to get that 12, 15 years. I don't think I'm going to get that from him because I don't think he's going to hold up that long. I don't. Because I've seen the 7'3" guy, the Ralph Sampson type of body.
Yeah.
Those knees, they just don't hold up. They don't.
You're not wrong. And I know that we're a little bit over, but there's only one left, and you don't know this one, so I'm interested to hear your take on it. Byron Scott says, no statue. One championship in 6, 7 years. Byron Scott does not believe LeBron James deserves to have a Lakers statue.
Number one, Tone, we're going in year. Just so you know, we're going into year 8, by the way.
Yes.
We're going into year 8, and Byron Scott is 100% correct. Yes, he is 100%.
Oh, say it again for the people at home.
Byron Scott is 100% correct. James, there should be a statue of James outside of the Quicken Loans Arena in Cleveland. That's it. There should be a statue of him outside that arena. No, that's it. And the reason why
I just want to be clear. So LeBron should not get a statue in Miami, should not get a statue in LA, where he's actually been more. At least
it should be one place.
Only gets a statue in Cleveland.
The great LeBron James outside, just the great LeBron James outside the arena in Cleveland. That's where it should be. Even if he did win another championship in Los Angeles. To be honest with you, Tone. To be honest with you, Tone. Even though he's going into year 8 with the Lakers, I just don't ever really feel like it's kind of like Alex Rodriguez with the Yankees. Like I don't ever think Alex Rodriguez was ever really a Yankee. And I feel like LeBron James with the Lakers, as long as he's been there, we're going into year 8. I never really felt like he was like James Worthy, Magic, Jabbar, Bryant, Elgin Baylor. I never really felt like he was a Laker. Like he played for the Lakers for a bunch of years, but I never really felt like he was an actual Laker like those guys are. I just
I hear you, and I don't feel like as a whole the true, and it's not a shot. The true Laker fan base, I don't think ever embraced LeBron. I think a lot of new Laker fans came over with LeBron, but those are like LeBron fans. They're not Laker fans. I think the true like die-hard Laker fans never fully embraced him. Now, some of that has to do with, missing the playoffs more than we're in the NBA final. Some of that has to do with the fact that you hated the guy for, 15 years. And now, it's tough to, even though he joins your team, it's tough for some people to be like, okay, great. There's a million reasons, but yeah, I'm with you. Like when you think of him, even though he's been there now for 8 years, he still feels like he's a Cleveland Cavalier.
That's what
I know you hate this, but I even feel like he should retire as a Cleveland Cavalier. Like he should go back for whatever short period of time and just retire as a you know what I mean? He's a hired gun in Miami. He went to LA, for the production company, but he's a Cleveland, I wish he could have had the general management, upper management team to put a consistent winner around him in Cleveland so that he spent if he had been 23 years playing for the Cavaliers, I think his legacy would have been really cemented. And look, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the team hopping, all that, because I've told you a million times I would have left Cleveland too. But I just think had he been there for longer, if for a longer stretch, right? Because he did, what did he do, 7 years and then he left, or 8 years and then he left? No, 7. Yeah, 7.
Cool. Yeah.
The first time 7 and then went back for 4 and then left again. So it's like I wish that just would have been, even if it was 15 and then he left. I don't know. I feel like he's a Cleveland. He's a Cav to me. He'll always be a Cav.
I think he goes into the Hall of Fame as a Cav. Even if he does win another championship with the Lakers, which I don't think is happening, but if he does, I still think that he goes into the Hall of Fame as a Cav.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, I agree. So you are going to have the option. I'm going to make you the bad guy. To either, because we are at time. We out. All right.
We are OUT, guys. We will see y'all next week.
Yes.
Absolutely, we will. We will see you guys next week. It was good to see you today. Basketball season. We already got media day. So training camp opens up. I think training camp opens up next week. So we already got media day. So basketball season is coming back around. So I'm sure that we're going to see more of you guys more often. So we will see you guys soon, man. You know where to find us at if we're not here. So we will see you guys soon. Until then, put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother. When's the last time you talked to your mother? Call your mother. I just talked to my mother a couple of days ago. So we will see you guys soon. But until then, take it light, but take it.
Canada.
Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey, man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
No, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.